Mary was once my brother's ex-girlfriend, but she went to great lengths to marry me just because my brother married a wealthy girl from a well-matched family. She wanted to take revenge on him by marrying me. Since then, our home became the place for them to carry on their affair. Each time I caught my wife in close contact with my own older brother, my 2-year-old son, Patton, also said in front of everyone, "Uncle is a great hero, Dad is a big bear. Since this family cannot accommodate me, I will leave." I arrived alone in City A and was trying hard to mix drinks in a bar when Mary called angrily and resentfully, questioning me why I had abandoned her and the child, leaving them helpless and alone. I coldly replied, "A bear can't protect you." After hanging up, I directly pulled out the card and flushed it down the drain. 5 years later, just as dawn was breaking, I finished my bartending shift with the tips from customers stuffed in my pocket. Feeling the weight of the money, I was quite satisfied and ready to go home for a nap. Suddenly, I felt something sliding out of my pocket. Oh no, it's a thief. This money is just enough to pay this month's rent. If it's stolen, they'll have to sleep next to the ATM for the next month. I grabbed the small hand that was about to escape with the fastest speed. It's actually a child. This child looks to be around 7 or 8 years old, dressed in brand-name clothes. How could they be involved in stealing? They must have run away from home, I guess. The child who was caught had a face full of anger, gripping my pocket tightly. If it weren't for the sturdy belt, my pants would have been pulled down. "Kid, let go. We'll pick you up and throw you in the trash can." I deliberately made a stern face to look fierce. I didn't expect him to grip even tighter, his hand almost squeezing my vulnerable spot. Looking at his stubborn expression, a woman I hadn't contacted in a long time flashed through my mind. Just as troublesome. Just as I was about to grab the back of his neck to teach him a lesson, he suddenly started crying loudly. "Dad, don't you want me anymore? Ever since you took the money and left, Mom and I have been waiting for you. Mom's been so sick for missing you, Dad. For the sake of our family, please come back with me." The bar is located in a bustling area, and this time is when people are getting up for work and school. Some early risers, elderly men and women, heard the crying and cast strange glances. "Oh, young man, you look so refined. How could you do such a thing?" One elderly woman couldn't help but say while tenderly using a sweat towel to wipe the child's tears. The child's tears flowed like a burst dam, and combined with that pitiful expression, it instantly ignited the anger of some elderly women. "Look at how pitiful this child is. How can you bear to do this?" "No, I don't know him at all. You are my dad. Mom cries every day looking at your photo. It's impossible to mistake you." "Young man, a man must have a sense of responsibility. Look, your child. Dee has come a long, long way to find you. It's not easy. Hurry and take the child home." "Don't." "Sure, responsibility. The child is still so young. What a pitiful child. He ran away with the money. Probably not a good person either." A bystander also opened the video and uploaded it to the local topic. "After today, my label is a scumbag who abandoned his wife and children. It will be impossible to wash away with so many people staring at me. I feel like my face is about to catch fire. In 30 years, I've never been this embarrassed. I just want to quickly send these people away. All right, son, Dad was wrong. We'll take you home now." As I said this, I tried to pull the child outside, but he clung tightly to my thigh, tears in his eyes, sobbing. "Really, Dad? You'll take me to find Mom, right? She misses you too." "How would I know who your mom is?" "Okay, Dad will take you to find Mom right away." I tried to make my tone sound gentle and friendly. Without waiting for him to resist, I quickly picked him up from the ground, my arm supporting him under his body, and walked briskly towards my place. After such a long delay, I had lost my sleepiness. I opened the door and stared at his face, noticing the slightly upturned corners of his eyes and the clear pupils that were just as serene. Without thinking, I asked, "Your mother isn't Mary, is she?" Since I changed my SIM card, I deleted all the contacts from before. A city is so far from B City. How could her son possibly find me? I am Patton. My mother's name is Mary. My father's name is George. I am 7 years old, and I study at the International Experimental School in City B. The child, no, Patton, stared at me and said each word slowly, trying hard to straighten his shoulders and not cry. I looked at him with some complexity. When I left the house in shares in City B to Mary on the condition that she wouldn't come looking for me again. No one has stopped them these past few years, so they should be quite happy. What does it mean for Patton to come looking for me? I dug out that familiar string of numbers from the depths of my memory, and I didn't expect she hadn't changed her number. Mary, Patton is here with me. You are his father. Isn't it normal for him to be with you? Mary, on the other end of the phone, said matter-of-factly, her tone carrying a hint of assertiveness. It's easy to say that, but I don't want to get involved in your matters anymore. It's not a holiday yet. Shouldn't Patton be going to school? Do you want your son to skip school from a young age and end up like me, accomplishing nothing? Although so much time has passed, that heart-wrenching feeling from my youth is like a sharp thorn constantly piercing my heart. It hurts whenever I touch it. All right, you let him wait at home obediently. He'll come to pick him up myself. Even though I'm not ready to meet Mary again, we still ended up in the same space because of Patton. 5 years have passed, leaving not many traces on Mary's face, but instead adding a touch of maturity, intellect, and elegance to her. How does Pat know I'm here? Did you say someone to watch me? I asked. You are his father. He misses you. What's wrong with coming to find you? Dad, I miss him. Mary, he was only 2 years old when I left. What could he remember? If you have a purpose, just say it directly. Don't use the child as an excuse. From pregnancy to Patton's birth, Mary devoted herself entirely to the work at the L Group to take care of Patton. I quit all my jobs and dedicated myself to him, but in Patton's eyes, there was only his mother, and in his mother's eyes, there was only my older brother Tom. As soon as I got close to Patton, he started crying loudly, and no matter how I tried to comfort him, it wouldn't stop. There was no way around it, so Mary could only take him to the office. I was worried, so I went along too, every day like a male nanny, taking care of Mary and Patton at the office. Patton was very smart from a young age, able to clearly express his thoughts at just 1.5 years old. Although he was young, what he said was chilling. I took him to the early education class, and he said, "Dad, the teacher you found is not as good as Uncle." I encouraged him to make more friends, and he said, "I just want to play with Uncle, and Mom also likes to play with Uncle." I want to question Mary, and he said, "Dad, you're bad. I want to call Uncle. Uncle is good to Mom. You leave." Even at his birthday party, he pouted at Tom. Uncle is a hero. Dad is a big bear. Mom works hard to support the family every day, but Dad just sleeps all day. These things accumulate one by one, like sharp thorns piercing my heart fiercely. It seems that anyone associated with Tom will like him, while I, George, feel like a huge joke. Since that's the case, it would be better to leave early and give each other a little dignity. In the end, after arriving in City A, alcohol numbed my painful nerves. Here, I gradually forgot those unrealistic dreams from my youth and tried to forget our son. With my bartending skills, I found a job that suited me. The once wealthy young master had already become a thing of the past. 5 years ago, you misunderstood. George, Patton really misses you, Mary said, glancing at her son, who was still fast asleep. What do you want me to think? Do you want me to go back and continue watching you, to be sweet and loving while I act like a coward? Is it not enough that Tom got the company, but he also has to take my wife and make my son call him Dad? Mary, you are too heartless. George, calm down. And now what do you think I am with him? Dad, Mom, you're here. Are you here to take me and Dad home? Patton was awakened by our voices. I brought him to Mary, who took a few steps back and said, "Your mom is here. Go with her. Study well and don't make her worry. Don't, Dad. Come with us." Patton's tears fell down in big drops that I pretended not to see. I said, "You still have an uncle. If you need anything, go find him. I'm not worthy of being your father." After saying that, without waiting for their reaction, I closed the door and prepared to rest. I got off work yesterday, and I have to go to work today. I really don't have the energy to guess their thoughts. The bar at night is a catalyst for the release of desire. The waitstaff, dressed in revealing clothing, weave through the crowd with trays in hand. Young men and women twist their bodies to the DJ's music and the flashing lights. As the night deepens, people's emotions rise even higher, with screams and beats intertwining. The whole environment feels decadent and chaotic. Point 1. Long Island iced tea, please. Mary was wearing a classic black dress with exquisite fabric and a fitted cut that perfectly accentuated her graceful figure. Paired with delicate makeup, she looked stunningly beautiful, a stark contrast to her intellectual and gentle appearance during the day. As soon as she walked in, many people secretly looked at her. Seeing that I didn't respond, Mary tapped the bar and asked, "What's wrong? Can't even make a Long Island iced tea. I can't adjust it." Not adjusting this for a woman? Why not? Didn't you used to love giving girls this kind of wine? Mary mocked. Don't you think it's very hypocritical to say this now? Upon hearing this, I was momentarily at a loss for how to respond, and my thoughts involuntarily drifted back to the past. 10 years ago, at that time, Mary's family had just moved into the villa next to mine. Her family had not yet encountered any misfortune, and Mary was still the apple of the Song family's eye. Tom and I both fell in love with Mary at first sight and silently watched her every move. At that time, Mary was enthusiastic and cheerful, like a brilliant sunflower, deeply attracting me. In order to have more common topics with her, I worked hard to learn everything she was interested in. My parents didn't have high expectations for me. As long as I didn't make any principal mistakes, they generally wouldn't interfere. When I was young, I often skipped classes, but one day I suddenly began to immerse myself in painting and showed a high talent for it. Although my parents didn't understand why I had such a change, they supported me. They strictly trained my older brother as the heir to the family business, while they were more lenient with my younger brother, thinking that with the Liu family's large business, it wouldn't matter if there was one wayward son. I worked hard at drawing and studying just to be able to get into the same university as Mary, but Mary seemed to only see me as a younger brother. Her attention was always drawn to Tom. I guess they were already together by then. Later, the change came suddenly. Mary's family was involved in a serious car accident on the way home for the new year. The driver died on the spot, and her parents also did not survive, leaving her alone to face relatives who were like wolves and tigers, dividing up the last of the family's assets. Once the daughter of the Song family, she suddenly became an orphan with no home. During this time, Tom was preparing to get engaged to the daughter of the Jiang family. Ply affectionate, but you should also see if she appreciates it. No matter how much you give her, her heart will always be with me, not with you, the useless second young master. You and Mary are from two completely different worlds. You wouldn't understand the feelings between a strong bond. Before I could react, Tom finished a sentence and went upstairs. At that moment, I really wanted to drag him back down and give him a beating. But then I thought about how my parents were getting old and Mary was still missing. I could only suppress my resentment and continue searching for her. Finally, I found Mary, who was dehydrated and unconscious in a property belonging to the Song family. During those months in the hospital, I stayed by her side and even helped her switch majors to finance. As for myself, I entered a top studio in the industry for further study. I wanted to prove to Tom that I, George, was not a person without accomplishments. Later, the L and Jiang families held a joint wedding banquet. At the banquet, I saw Mary forcing a smile as she said to Tom, "Tom, meeting you is my fortune. I wish you happiness." Tom still had that gentle demeanor, nodding to her. "Mary, I'm sorry." That look of seeming to have a hidden sorrow was truly disgusting, yet women just fall for this kind of act. I almost couldn't help but rush up and tear off his hypocritical mask. To avoid making Mary sad, I took the initiative to hold her hand for the first time and led her away from the party. In the evening, Mary invited me to the bar for a drink. Drinking is great. Drunkenness can relieve 1,000 sorrows. Maybe if I get drunk, I can forget Tom, and maybe she will see my true feelings for her. After Mary chatted with the bartender for a few moments, she left. I noticed she wasn't holding any drinks, so I guessed it was her first time in a place like this. It was my first time too, but I felt that men are naturally a bit stronger than women in this regard. I asked the bartender what drink would be suitable for girls, and he recommended Long Island iced tea. I thought the alcohol content of drinks for girls shouldn't be too high, so I ordered 10 cups, 5 for each of us. After finishing the drinks, we felt it was time to go home. At that time, the Song family was experiencing internal strife. Their funding chain had broken, and all their properties were auctioned off. During that period, Mary lived with me in the small apartment near the school that my parents had bought for me. I didn't expect the after-effect of this wine to be so strong. After returning home, we ended up sleeping together in a daze. The next day, although Mary knew it wasn't my fault since I ordered the wine, she still coldly said, "George, let's not see each other anymore." After saying that, she left my apartment without looking back. Seeing her again was in that bar where she worked as a waitress. She was already stunningly beautiful, and when she wore a fitted miniskirt, she attracted quite a few lewd gazes from men. I couldn't stand others staring at her like that. In my heart, Mary was like the bright moonlight, not someone who should be casually offended in such a place. Once, a fat guy touched Mary's butt, and without thinking, I rushed up and beat that fat guy up. "My woman! How dare you touch her? Not even a little." If it weren't for Mary stopping me, I really don't know what kind of mess I would have made. "That's enough, George. Stop messing around." She was petite, only able to cling tightly to my waist, desperately pulling me back to prevent me from doing anything more impulsive. "He touched you. Why are you still stopping me?" I was filled with anger with no outlet and could only be held back by Mary. In the end, I paid a bit of medical expenses, and this matter was settled privately. The next day, Mary took the initiative to ask me to meet. I carefully got ready and arrived at the agreed place. "George, do you like me?" Mary looked at me with deep, focused eyes. "Why are you suddenly asking this?" Being confronted by the person I admired, I was so nervous that my tongue got tied. "Then why are you so good to me, treating me like your sister?" "We don't have any blood relation." Facing her fiery gaze, my ears began to heat up, and I felt a faint sense of anticipation in my heart, thinking this was a perfect opportunity for a confession. "I really like you. From the first moment I saw you, I wanted to marry you. Although I am not yet outstanding in the field of painting, I will work hard to learn and strive to be worthy of you. Please believe me, I have the ability to make you happy. Would you be willing to spend your life with me?" "Sure." In my incredulous gaze, Mary stood on her tiptoes and shyly kissed my lips. Little did she know, Tom was witnessing all of this. By the time I reacted, I saw Mary holding my hand more intimately, but her eyes were filled with sadness for Tom. "Oh no, I mean big brother, you have to take good care of me in a family from now on." After saying that, she kissed my cheek again. Tom's eyes were full of disbelief while Mary never looked at me, only staring at Tom, lost in her own thoughts. At that time, I finally understood that Mary agreed to be with me just to take revenge on Tom for his change of heart. But I really liked her too much. If I missed this opportunity, I didn't know if I would ever have her again. So we naturally got married. My parents were getting older and hoped to see me find the right direction for myself in their lifetime. To encourage me to pick up painting again, they let Mary take my place in the L group so I could fully devote myself to my artistic creation. With a family in a new life, later we had children. I thought that over time, Mary would see my sincerity, but I was terribly wrong. Work became an excuse for their private meetings. They often spent time alone together behind my back, as if they were the real couple. It wasn't until I caught them embracing in the study that I fully understood that these years of marriage were merely a tool for Mary to take revenge on Tom. Beautiful dreams about marriage became the biggest joke of my life. I was filled with despair, sitting in front of my parents' grave all night. I remembered how, before they passed away, they held my hand, reminding us to support each other as brothers, and only left with a smile after we made our vows. But now, the brotherly bond is gone, my wife's heart is no longer with me, and my son is not close to me either. I've been a fool for so long, and when I go out, I might be pointed at by others. Let's go. I left behind a divorce agreement and set off on the road away from City B, wanting to start anew. 5 years have passed, and it seems like nothing has changed. Mary is still so self-assured, it's all in the past. Later, I thought, with your personality, it would be impossible for you not to buy a drink. But I have my own principles now, I said to her across the table. Mary was speechless. Yes, you're open-minded, generous, and principled. The once proud second son of a Liu family has turned into a bartender struggling to make ends meet. George, are you really that heartless? Heartless? Mary, How dare you say that? Why wouldn't I be? Back then, you left a piece of paper and walked away without looking back, leaving your mother and son all alone in B City. How could you bear it? People drinking nearby heard our argument and gathered around, looking like they were watching a show. Clearly, she was the one who cheated and betrayed me. She was the first to abandon me. Why does she still have the audacity to accuse me as a victim? Anyway, it had been 5 years since we last met, and I didn't want to waste my thoughts on these matters. Mary, I have work to do. If you want to make a scene, please go outside. At that moment, Mary took a card from her bag and pressed it against my chin. This card has 500,000 on it. I want you to serve only me tonight. A chorus of whistles erupted around us. Bro, this sudden wealth, you better grab it. Go, please, the rich lady. Hey, that bartender is too arrogant. Look at me, I may not be as tall or handsome as him, but I'm obedient. Mary shot a glare. You all can't compare to him. We are legally married. Oh, so rich, and your husband is working as a bartender. The crowd's eyes were filled with curiosity. I didn't want to be gawked at like a monkey, so I pulled Mary and strode towards the door. At the entrance, I forcefully shook off her wrist. What do you want to do? The painful memories surged back, making me unable to hold back my tears. George, I just want you to celebrate Patton's 7th birthday with me. He mentions you every year. 5 years ago, I prepared a grand birthday party for Patton, with friends of my parents who had significant influence in a large group attending. But from the start of the party, Mary was busy talking to the board members, and whenever our eyes met, hers only looked at Tom. Tom was waving a plush toy in front of Patton. Patton, do you like this bear? If you want it, come to Uncle. Patton has been allergic to plush toys since he was little. I traveled miles to find her husband just to reunite with me through the gossip of the aunties. I, the bartender, surprisingly became the good man in everyone's eyes, working hard for my wife and child and not daring to go home because I had fallen seriously ill, silently bearing it all alone. His wife was also a person of deep feelings and loyalty. After making money in business, she immediately came to find her husband and even planned to treat his illness. As a result, when I walked down the street, there were always enthusiastic neighbors advising me to reconcile with her soon. Now my life was filled with Mary. For every meal, she would have Pat leave it at my door, and if I didn't eat, she would come to my door to watch me eat. When I went to work at the bar, she would give the boss 100,000 a day, demanding that I only serve her. The people around me had become a support group trying to bring me and Mary together, but I really didn't care anymore. Mary, you should go back. I sincerely wish you and Tomama the best. I just want to live quietly by myself. Let's not see each other again. I didn't expect my words to be so impactful. Mary's eyes instantly turned red, and she hugged me helplessly. George, we're not divorced yet. You are my only husband, and Patton really loves you. Patton cries a lot. Just as I was about to raise my hand, a familiar voice came from behind Mary. I finally found you. It was Tom. He had come too. I felt so foolish thinking Mary had really changed her mind. I gently pushed Mary away and looked at the two of them expressionlessly. I wish you all happiness. Mary opened her mouth wanting to explain something, but to me, it was no longer important. I turned around and left without hesitation. Unexpectedly, Mary did not follow Tom back. Instead, Tom hurriedly left after receiving a phone call. Since then, Mary seemed to have become an ordinary housewife, no longer working. Every day, she would cook during the day and wait at my door for me to open it at night. When I went to work at the bar, she would follow me there, order a drink, and sit until I finished my shift. Patton also followed me around all day, calling, "Daddy! Daddy!" Patton was cute, sweet-talking, and with the touching story Mary had fabricated about searching for his father, he was particularly popular in this old neighborhood. Sometimes neighbors would invite him over for dinner. Every time someone invited him, he would cautiously knock on my door to ask for my opinion. But even if I disagreed, what could change? If you want to go, just go. Can't you even decide your own matters? I said to him. A boy being so fussy, what kind of image was that? Shirao, look at you. You don't look like a father at all. You walk so fast, aren't you afraid Patton will get left behind and be abducted? Jan next door, who had gone out to buy groceries, couldn't help but express her worries upon seeing our awkward interaction. He's so smart. If he encounters a bad person, he'll run faster than anyone else, I replied. There weren't many customers at the bar, and Mary sat alone in a booth. This time, she didn't order a drink, she just stared in my direction, not knowing what she was looking at. Shalu, come here. The boss put down his glass, looking serious. How are things with your wife? I see she comes here every day to keep you company. She's a woman, and she's got a child. She's not working anymore. If you have any difficulties you can't talk about, you can tell me, and I'll give you some advice. We just have a broken relationship. There's nothing to say. Thank you for your concern, Brother Jot. I continued to wipe the cup in my hand, seeing that I didn't want to say much. Brother Shao sighed and continued to drink his wine. In the distance, Mary answered a phone call, leaned against the cushion, and lit a cigarette. Her red lips slightly parted as she exhaled smoke, looking as if she had something on her mind. Does this have anything to do with Tom? Noticing my gaze, Mary extinguished the cigarette with her fingertip and walked over to the bar with a smile. What's wrong? Do you want one? No, I don't want to. Smoking is bad for your health. You should smoke less. So concerned about me. Why? Why not supervise me in person? We've already divorced. If you want to ruin your health, I have no right to interfere. Now that we're divorced, we can remarry. Besides, I haven't signed that divorce agreement yet. You, George, are still my husband, Patton's father. If a couple has been separated for 2 years, the marriage will be deemed invalid. Mary, I really don't understand what you want. You should have already established yourself in a new group, and your sister-in-law has divorced Tom. No one is blocking you anymore. Why are you still entangled with me? Mary has been acting very strangely lately. She has always been a proud person, and work was everything to her, but now she has actually abandoned her job, even letting Patton drop out of school, and is fixated on me, a bartender earning $2,000 a month. I told you from the beginning, come back to Bee City with me and celebrate Patton's birthday properly. After the birthday, I won't stop you from doing anything you want. Okay, we'll go back with you. Stepping once again onto the land of Bee City, everything felt both strange and familiar. It wasn't Tom who came to pick me up, but Uncle Chung, who had watched me grow up. Uncle Chung had spent his life serving the L family and never married. When I was a child, I promised in front of my parents and Uncle Chung that I would take care of him in his old age. After 5 years, Uncle Chang's originally graying hair had turned completely white, and his once straight back had hunched. Uncle Chung, second young master, you really came back. It's good that you're back. Hurry home, Uncle Chung will give you a warm welcome. The car drove through unfamiliar streets, and I asked, this isn't the way to the L residence. Where are we going? Dad, Mom, and I have been living in Jianwing Fu, and Grandpa Chung is living with us too. Patton's words left me even more puzzled. Mary was opening her computer to look at documents. Noticing my confusion, she smiled mysteriously. Curious, huh? You can guess for yourself, she said as she shifted closer to me, the sweet scent from her body filling my nose, her full lips almost brushing against my ear. Tonight, come to my room and maybe I'll tell you. I pretended not to hear her hint and closed my eyes to rest. Fortunately, the car was spacious enough. Uncle Chung and Patton were sitting in the front, so they couldn't see our little actions. Jianwing Fu is a property developed by the L Group, located next to the National Financial Center in the southern part of E City. As soon as the community opened, many corporate executives made reservations, and with a high level of property security, many celebrities also lived here. After returning home, Patton eagerly pulled me to his room, where a whole wall of shelves was filled with the trophies and medals he had won. Mary came in at some point. All right, Patton, your dad just got off the car. Let him rest in the guest room. Since you're back, you need to continue your drawing and German classes. The teacher will be here soon, so go prepare in the study. As soon as he heard about the classes, Patton's originally bright face instantly turned as gloomy as a frostbitten eggplant, and he reluctantly left. You've taught him well in these 5 years. He's better than I was at his age, I said. All right, stop rambling. He's your son. How bad can he be? He'll take you to see the room, of course. If you want to live with me, I don't mind. Please lead the way. In a week, it will be Patton's birthday. Mary has been very busy with work these days, staying in the study, and I haven't seen her for several days. The nanny has been bringing her meals. It's strange that she's so busy but not going to the office. I don't know what Patton likes, so I plan to take him out for a stroll and observe his preferences. We arrived at a children's mall. I put a mask on Patton, and he obediently followed me. When I helped him put on the mask, his big eyes were filled with joy. "Do you want that stuffed animal, the bear?" I asked. "No, I hate plush toys, especially bears." Just a moment ago, he was all smiles, but suddenly his expression darkened. "Dad, you told me since I was little that I shouldn't touch plush toys. Have you forgotten? But when your uncle gave it to you, how did you accept it so easily?" Children are so black and white in their likes and dislikes, but his words pierced my heart. Seeing me lost in thought, Patton tugged at my pant leg, signaling me to bend down, and then whispered in my ear, "Dad, let me tell you. Mama's always told me not to say anything. She wants me to please Uncle. She said he has what she wants, but pleasing Uncle is so tiring. Dad, I don't want gifts. Can you tell Mom not to make me go to the L House anymore?" "What for?" "Her ridiculous love." Mary actually made Patton, a little child, please an adult to pave the way for herself. No, since returning to B-City, Mary hasn't contacted Tom in front of me. And her work has all been in the study. What is she planning? "Patton, when you go to the L House, does Mom go too?" Mom is often on business trips and is busy with work at night, so she rarely goes to the L House. I squatted for too long, my legs felt a bit numb, and with so much on my mind, I could only let Patton lead me around. "George, you're back." A familiar high-pitched voice came, and I turned to see my former sister-in-law holding a 2-year-old girl. "Sister-in-law, who is this child?" I was startled. It couldn't be Tom's, could it? "I've been divorced from your brother for 2.5 years. Don't call me sister-in-law anymore. Just call me sister. Jean, this is my daughter with my husband. Her name is Gua. It's just in time for a meal. Patton must be hungry. Shall we go upstairs to eat something together?" "Sure." Clearly, Sister Jean had something to discuss with me. After ordering, Patton took a seat in the children's area to eat, and I sat down face to face with Sister Jean. "Sister Jean, do you have something to tell me? Do you know that your brother is actually not your parents' biological child?" As soon as Sister Jean opened her mouth, it felt like she dropped a bomb on me. "What?" I was so shocked that I couldn't speak. "Oh, didn't Mary tell you?" Sister Jean looked at my astonished face. "Was your leaving for 5 years arranged by Mary? Why did she arrange for me to leave? Why hasn't she been with Tom all these years? Why did Patton have to please Tom? And how did Patton find my address?" One thing after another felt like an invisible net, making it impossible for me to see the truth. At this moment, I desperately wanted to know the answers. My gaze fixed on Sister Jean. "What else do you know? It seems you really don't know anything. A year before you left, Mary approached me for collaboration. She said that Tom is not the biological son of the Liu family. Your parents had long established that you could obtain 51% of the Liu family shares, while Tom could only get 10%, but he would have actual power over the Liu family. Tom had already discovered this matter and naturally was unwilling to let it go. Originally, he planned to find an opportunity to eliminate you, but if it weren't for Patton belittling you at the birthday party, he would have changed his mind. He felt that making you have nothing would be more satisfying than making you disappear. Why did you collaborate with Mary? Tom treats you well, right? I was filled with confusion and really couldn't understand the twists and turns of this situation. It's already this time, and you still think he's good? Sister Jean's eyes were filled with resentment. A good person wouldn't think about killing his own brother. He treats me well, but it's just to take advantage of the Jiang family's power. Ever since our family fell from grace, he rarely comes home. Of course, that's not the most critical part. What prompted me to cooperate with Mary is another matter. Do you remember why our family fell? Sister Jean paused. Dee continued, "It was due to a funding break. Just like Mary's family, back then he hired business spies to leak our family secrets to our competitors, causing us to suffer a heavy blow. Then he bought us out at a low price under his own name. If it weren't for Mary keeping an eye on things, your 51% stake would have long been hollowed out and become a shell. He ruined my family, and I'm just waiting to see the day he falls from grace, looking at me with a dazed expression, seemingly unable to accept this so-called truth." Sister Jiang didn't mind and left with Guer in her arms. "Dad, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well?" Patton brought over a cup of hot water from somewhere. "Mom said that drinking more hot water is good for your health. Dad, you should drink some to feel better." Clearly just an ordinary paper cup, but at this moment, holding it in my hand feels as if it weighs 1,000 pounds. Patton's features resemble Mary's very much. Both have round eyes, and the slightly upturned corners of their eyes make them look full of tenderness. "Dad is fine. Patton, do you want to go home?" If what Sister Jiang said is true, then this child, who is not even as tall as my thigh, was protecting me at such a young age while I, as a father, have been a coward, avoiding it for 5 years. Patton keenly noticed my low mood. He poured out the unfinished water in the cup and then took my fingertips and walked forward. "Well, Dad, take me back." Standing at the door of Mary's study, I didn't know how to start. Just then, Mary came out to get some water, and seeing the worried look on my face, asked with concern, "George, do you need something from me?" "Tom, are you really not my biological parents? How did you know about this? Did you meet Jiang? What did she tell you?" Mary's expression was somewhat evasive, as if she didn't want to say much to me. "Why didn't you tell me, Mary? Sometimes I really don't understand you. What do you actually want? Why make these decisions for me and keep so many things from me?" I couldn't control my emotions any longer. The education I received since childhood taught me to try not to lose my composure in front of others, but at this moment, I really couldn't take it anymore. Mary seemed to have anticipated that I would break down emotionally. She took a handkerchief out of her pocket and gently wiped my tears. "If I had known, I wouldn't have brought you back. You're too soft-hearted. Not telling you was for your own good. I was afraid these truths would cause you trouble. I have the right to know too. You tell me nothing, leaving me to waste 5 years in disappointment and betrayal towards you and Patton. Is this for my own good, Mary? For these 5 years, I've been kept in the dark like a fool, drifting outside. How many 5-year periods can one have in life? I beg you, tell me the truth. I don't want to be a useless person hiding behind you, living a life like a frog at the bottom of a well." Seeing my persistence, Mary opened the password lock of the study room partition. "These are what you want to know whether you believe it or not. You can check for yourself." After saying that, she left the space for me. I sat down and opened several key documents. The files detailed Tom's various conspiracies, including collusion with illegal merchants, transferring family assets, and even evidence of bribing underground forces. My mood grew heavier, guilt and regret intertwined, making me feel as if I were being consumed by darkness. Putting down the evidence, I collapsed onto the sofa. Everything in front of me turned pitch black. "George," Mary sat down along the edge of the sofa, her soft fingers gently stroking my messy hair. The warmth from her fingertips seemed to have a magical power, slowly calming the turmoil within me. Her breath was even and gentle, like a warm breeze softly brushing by. "All these years I've been a coward, sister. I'm sorry. My heart was filled with guilt. I am not a responsible husband nor a brave father. Like a coward, I've hidden behind you and your son, living a stable life for 5 years. Patton is so young, and he has to face that smiling tiger, Tom, and you even more." The shame and regret inside me made it almost impossible to speak a complete sentence, and sadness surged out like a tide. "George, you are not. You're the best man I have ever met," she said softly, her eyes filled with tenderness. "When I first met you, you brought a lot of snacks and took me to play with the kids around. I knew you wanted to help my family open up socially, and at that time, I thought how silly you were to bring someone you don't know very well to socialize. During those months, I even wished you were my real brother, but fortunately, you are not. Compared to a brother, you were more like a real man. When I was isolated and on the verge of giving up, It was you who appeared by my side, protecting me at all costs. You protected me for 5 years, and I want to repay you for 5 years. George, our feelings are mutual. I understand everything, Mary said, and lay down with me, gently stroking my back from top to bottom like soothing a child. At this moment, unrelated to love, the emotions between us seemed to intertwine again, growing deeper. I don't know when I fell asleep. When I woke up, I saw Mary quietly lying in my arms, her breathing light, just like her personality, reserved yet full of strength, with a charm that brings comfort. Tom's crimes were confirmed. He was suspected of commercial fraud and illegal asset transfer. Mary and I decided to send him to prison together. The amount involved was enormous, and he would have to atone for his sins in prison for the rest of his life. Before going to prison, he requested to meet me alone, and I agreed. Looking at the once spirited Tom, now with a buzz cut and wearing prison clothes, there was no trace of the grandeur of the young master of the Liu family. When he saw me come in, he suddenly stood up. If it weren't for the guard's intervention, it felt like he was about to strangle me with the handcuffs. George, you must be feeling proud now that Mary actually deceived me, taking the project I gave her and using it for her own gain. Her schemes are too deep. I'm just waiting for the day she plays you to your demise. Haha, then you don't have to worry. 5 years ago, I transferred the shares to her name. Unless she wants to ruin her own future, that's 51% of the shares, and you actually gave it to an outsider. She's not a stranger, she is my wife. How did your parents end up with such a foolish son like you? The hard-earned family business is being handed over to others just like that, and now the Liu family is about to change its surname to Song. What qualifications do you have to mention mom and dad? Mary is their recognized daughter-in-law, helping to manage the L family's business. And what about you? You actually want to destroy the Liu family? Do you think you deserve their investment in you? Farming. They let a 5-year-old child be trapped at home every day, learning all sorts of difficult things, while taking another child on trips everywhere, not coming home for a year. Watching you all having such a good time makes me feel so jealous I could go crazy. You are inferior to me in every way, yet just because you are their biological son, they give you the best of everything, leaving me to toil for so long only to become your backdrop. Why is that, George? You are nothing but a complete coward. Tom's expression grew increasingly sinister, his shaved head making the dark circles under his eyes more pronounced. He wanted to continue speaking, but visiting hours were over, and his menacing gaze gradually faded from the room, leaving him to spend the rest of his life in prison filled with hatred. After Tom was imprisoned, society was not optimistic about the development of the L Group. The stock price plummeted, and people were anxious, believing that the L Group would likely struggle to escape the fate of decline. At this time, Mary stepped forward as the second young mistress of the Liu family, striving to turn the tide with her own abilities. She led the L Group back to its peak. Just as Patton said, she often traveled for work, sometimes being away from home for half a month, leaving Patton and me at home. However, being able to be reunited with my wife and children, with my wife being my first love, these small separations mean nothing to me. I believe that in Th.